Hey everyone, Token Dave over here, the dorky token black guy that's just trying to get by. And welcome to another edition of Comic Book Character Origins. Here, I explain the origins or the first appearance of a superhero or villain directly from the source comic book material, having little or nothing to do with what's been portrayed or displayed in a movie or a TV series. This is going to be a bit complicated. Now, I know some of you guys are saying, like, well, Token Dave, some of your origins are already kind of long-winded and everything. Well, the thing is, like, I tried to go into some of my CCOs deal with the first appearance of the hero and everything, and or the first appearance of the character. Here, I'm going into both the first appearance of the character, part of their origin that, as far as I'm aware, has not been retconned yet, and then when this character becomes the superhero, which is kind of in depth and everything. But, neither here and there, we're going to be talking about the comic book origins of James Rhodes, or Jimmy Rhodes, aka War Machine. All right. So hold on. This might be a little bit complicated. All right. So James Rhodes' first appearance is really nothing really special. We see that basically, he is actually the private pilot to Iron Man, and the precursor of the Demon of the Bottle storyline event and everything. And basically, when you just see him, he just tells Mr. Stark that basically, the helicopter's all up, ready and willing to go and everything. And he just flies Stark to the Shield helicarrier for that particular issue. Then after some adventures and everything with, Rhodes taking part in basically, a Demon in a Bottle, the aftermath of Demon in a Bottle, the origins, the intro and the origins of Obadiah Stane, which I'll get into probably either next video or the video after, but Stark Industries getting brought out by somebody else and all, we finally get a bit details of, James's origins, which we find out a couple years later from his original appearance in Invincible Ironman 118. And basically, in Invincible Ironman 144, we discover that basically James Rhodes was a lieutenant in the Army during Vietnam. And, he was also a pilot. Well, he was a lieutenant pilot in Vietnam. And his helicopter crashed. And the interesting part about it is that basically when it kind of ties in lines and kind of retcons Iron Man's first appearance, because we learned that basically he actually received a distress call from the private security force of Iron Man, and he was sent to actually rescue Tony Stark, but his helicopter got taken out by a rocket launcher. And after his co-pilot dies, he actually is wandering, trying to get in contact with the United States and everything, try to state he's behind enemy lines and all, and survive. But he actually encounters Iron Man, after Iron Man defeated Wong Chu. And basically, Iron Man finds out that basically, where he originally got gunned down was actually a stronghold of Wong Chu, who was actually basically already advancing on a village that basically Wong Chu just took over while Iron Man defeated him. And basically they were also ended up having to fight Wong Chu's remaining forces because after Iron Man killed Wong Chu. And joining Iron Man in a fight for their survival and everything, they make it through, but Rhodey actually gets wounded in an explosion. But unlike Tony Stark, his wounds are not basically detrimental or severe. And so basically, he's recuperating in a hospital in Saigon, and he is approached by Tony Stark not wearing the Iron Man outfit, because guys, you gotta bear in mind, at this time, people still thought Iron Man and Tony Stark were two different people. But neither here or there, basically, Tony Stark said, hey, I actually had a new bodyguard named Iron Man, and Iron Man told me that you were a great help to him. Hey, just to let you know, if you ever want a job, you could come work in Stark Industries. Well, after the Vietnam War, James Rhodes tries to be a mercenary and tries to go on small missions here and there, but he really doesn't really like that line of work. So he goes back to Stark Industries, and Tony Stark hires him as his personal personal pilot and chief aviator. Well, after the events of Demon in the Bottle and during Stark being brought out, basically, we discover that basically Stark's Iron Man is kind of losing a mental grip of himself, and James Rhodes actually discovers that Tony Stark is Iron Man, and he is not only basically impaired, but he's also critically wounded. So, and Iron Man was already in a battle. So James Rhodes dons the Iron Man armor, and he fights a battle for Iron Man, and he actually becomes Iron Man for a brief time period until Tony Stark recovers, resobers, and takes the company back and gets his armor back from Rhodes, who is really relieved that he doesn't have to be Iron Man again. However, later on, when basically there's a hit made on Tony Stark by Justin Hammer, who I will talk about either in the next video or the video after. I'm trying to decide who to talk about first. Basically, Tony Stark is presumed dead, and basically, with the death of Tony Stark, he actually left in his will, and that the person that will take over as the chairman of Stark Industries is James Rhodes, and it is here that James Rhodes becomes CEO of Stark Industries and dons a new armor, a more heavily military styled armor, and that Rhodes uses. Now, within this, Rhodes ends up learning that Stark is alive, and he is near death, and basically kind of looking like he's near death and in a wheelchair, and Rhodes quits. And that's because there's been a lot of friction between Rhodes and Stark, because Stark holding things back from Rhodes, not realizing that the reason Stark held him back for him is because he wanted Rhodes to not only be the CEO if he ever died, but he wanted Rhodes to have the credibility and the the support from people of the Stark Industries, because Rhodes was getting a lot of, not a lot of racial attacks, but some racial attacks, and also being seen as somebody that didn't earn his way to the top, But with another battle underway, basically, Rhodes actually not only defeats an oncoming threat, which is basically the remnants of the Armored Wars, which is something I'll get into later. But Rhodes actually ends up stepping down when Stark is recovered and everything. But Stark says, hey, listen, dude, I still want you on my executive team, and I still need you to have the Iron Man suit, because I need you to continue the Iron Man legacy. And then Rhodes says, okay, I'll continue the legacy, but I will not be known as Iron Man. I will be known as War Machine. And thus, James Rhodes has become the second Iron Man for a time, but that is how he becomes War Machine. I know this is more in depth than some of my more recent comic book character origins, but I thought it was very important to explain not only James Rhodes' first appearance when he wasn't Iron Man, but also when he became War Machine. And it's very interesting. At the time, I knew that James Rhodes was a confidant of Tony's, but I never knew that he was in the military. For years, I just thought that he was someone that got into Stark Industries through basically, being an engineer, aviation engineer and everything. I thought that he purely got in on his own without being part of the United States military. But, I was wrong and everything. But do you guys have any other comments? Did I get anything wrong? Got any corrections? Please send them to the comments. Write a comment below. Give me a like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you know when a new video loads. But until then, this has been Token Dave. The Dorky Token Black Guy is just trying to get by, and I'll catch you guys later.